We're making pickles, but I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit because we're gonna make bread and butter pickles. Ben's not gonna eat any because he hates a bread and butter pickle, but I've never tried to make them. I always make dill, so we're gonna try. I'll be honest, I thought about buying one of those wavy cutters, but then I realized that's a silly investment if I'm not actually gonna make bread and butter pickles frequently, so I didn't buy a wavy cutter. We're just gonna cut them normally. That'll work just fine. Just, to me, a bread and butter pickle has that wavy edge, you know? Wash pickles, get a tea towel, dry them off, the little babies. Pickles, cucumber, pickling cucumbers you need. These are Kirby's. Pickling cucumber. It doesn't tell me exactly what variety these are. They just say pickling cucumber, but I'm thinking that they're Kirby's. Anyway, wait, how thick do I want it? Probably like that. I think that thickness. You don't want it too thin, you know, like it needs to still be a pickle. Anyway, cut them up. Cut up your cucumbers. If you've got the wrinkly cutter, use that. If you don't, it's fine. Okay, adding our cucumbers. I think I keep calling them pickles. I don't know. Add our cucumbers. They're cucumbers before they're pickles. To our bowl. We need onion next. I think technically it's supposed to be white onion, but I just buy bags of Spanish onions, or I don't know what these are, yellow onions, and so that's what I use in everything, so that's fine. Someone told me to stick a metal spoon in my mouth. Slice it up. So far so good. I'm doing half moons. I think that worked. I can kind of feel it starting to burn, but not nearly as much as I usually cry. And maybe if I had to keep going longer, it would be worse, but that wasn't bad. Okay, you can use pickling salt for this part, but I'm just gonna use kosher salt. It kind of works the same way. Table salt has additives in it that will kind of like, I think my eyes are starting to go because there's onion just sitting there, but the metal spoon did work. Table salt has additives to it that will turn your pickles a weird color, so don't do that. I'm doing 2 tablespoons of salt. I forget how many cucumbers that was, but we like to wing things. Okay, distribute the salt and mix it up. I'm gonna use my little hands. Also, I'm using an internet recipe for this. It's from simplyrecipes.com, literally. Their bread and butter pickle recipe. I didn't search very far for something because I've never tried it. So I was like, let me just go to the basics. So don't ask me why we do this next step because I have no idea. It says to put a tea towel down on them. Just chose the world's largest tea towel, but that's fine. And then please hold. We're supposed to put ice on the top. That's it. I don't have an ice maker, so I'm not doing more. Not sure. I'm just following the recipe. Into the fridge we go. It says for 4 hours. I'll probably do like an hour max. Okay, I reread through the recipe and realized that you're essentially pickling them in the salt right now. Like, I don't think there's any salt added later. Don't quote me on that. We might get there and there might be salt. But I realized that maybe the 4 hours was important. So I did wait, but it's been like 3. So we're doing that. It's basically starting to get dark outside, so I felt like we had to move on. It's honestly so impressive to me that ice doesn't melt in the fridge, you know? Like, I get that it does a little bit, but I truly do not understand this step. Here we are. They look a little pickled. They smell pickled. Okay, we have to rinse them, which is also fascinating to me. Like, we're gonna drain, because obviously, but there's a ton of liquid that's accumulated from the salt drawing the liquid out of the cucumbers. So we're gonna drain and then rinse. But let me just make sure I'm doing this right. Oh wait, shoot. We could have kept this in the fridge for a little bit longer. Could have made the pickling liquid now. So I should do that and let these sit in the fridge for a little while longer. Maximize our fridge time. I'm assuming the ice on top is just to keep the moisture so they don't get dried out. But its tea towel that was on here is still so wet that I'm just gonna do this. We need a pot. Half a cup and 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. I'm eyeballing the 2 tablespoons. There. I think this will make enough. This is always my battle. I'm halving the recipe. I'm not making as much as it says, but now I'm nervous that's not going to be enough. Half a cup of apple cider vinegar. I guess I'm going to do the full thing. Like, that just doesn't seem like enough. So we're going full thing. So 1 cup. Scratch everything that I've said. 1 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1.25 cups of white vinegar. Oh, we're just going to smell like, oh my gosh, it's vinegar after this project. Okay. If there's extra, it's fine, but at least we don't have not enough, you know? 2.25 cups of sugar. That seems like a lot. Oh my goodness, do I even have enough? 2.25 cups of sugar is a lot, but I guess we're making sweet pickles. I don't think I have enough sugar. Okay, 1. I don't. 2. 2.25, is that what I said? 2.25. I'm eyeballing the quarter. Okay, I have barely any left. I don't have a backup right now. 1 tablespoon of mustard seeds. 3/4 teaspoon of celery seeds. It says 6 allspice berries. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 6 whole cloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very specific. Half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. That's it. Oh, it wanted a little bit of cinnamon stick. I don't know if I vibe with that, but I'm gonna do, it says 1 inch, so I'm gonna do that much. Okay, so basically we bring this concoction to a boil, and then once it's brought to a boil, we add our cucumbers. So I'll put this on the stove and then we'll rinse the cubes. Grab our cubes, that wasn't long at all, and rinse. The rinsing to me is bizarre, but I don't know the science behind any of this. Here we are. All my wide mouth jars are currently occupied, so we have to use these two, which is fine. I think this is my measuring technique, but I think it's 2 jars worth, maybe a little less. I'm also not going to boil my jars because I'm planning on eating them within the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. If you wanted them to be shelf stable and or keep in the fridge for a really long time, you need to sterilize your jars, but not moi. Oh, that was just me and my brain saying in a couple weeks. If you skipped the sterilization step, you can put them in the fridge and eat them within 3 months. So you got time to consume. I guess I also wasn't really thinking of the fact that they have to sit for a minute. Like they have to sit for a week, probably even 2 to be pickled properly. Should I see what the recipe says? Yes, we shall. Can be eaten as soon as 24 hours after, but best flavor if you let them sit for a week, ideally 3 or more weeks. So we'll go with a week around here. Okay, so the liquid's boiling. It just got to a boil. We're gonna put our cucumbers in and then bring it back to a boil and then take it off the stove. Okay, we're boiling. I can confirm that it smells really good. Okay, we're boiling. I'm back from the stove. I don't know if you can see them, but well, a lot of pickle in the face. They smell good and they look good. I think the easiest technique is going to be using tongs because basically now we have to just load up our jars. Careful, Tess. You're going to get turmeric everywhere. Okay, also I don't think it's 2 large jars. I think it's a small one. Okay, so definitely didn't need this much pickling liquid for sure. Guess I could have been using this the whole time, but we don't always think of these things. I'm not going to pour, I'm going to scoop. Okay. That's one. I need to wipe this counter down so badly. I'm really getting like punched in the face with vinegar and sugar. This is the other one. You can see we only got half cuke in there. But honestly, I wouldn't, oh my gosh, sorry. Vinegar's starting to burn my eyes. I don't think we would have made it with just the 1 batch. So I'm happy we did 2. I think that I could decide some things here. I would make the same amount of brine and I think it would be truly like 2 large jars, just you need a couple more pickles and I didn't have them. I'm going to transfer that 1 pickle over because they're not in the brine over here and we got space, we got room. That is very hot on the tippy of the fingers, but yeah, I think it looks great. Lit them up, wait for them to cool and let them cool at room temp. I'm just gonna put them on the stove to cool. Hot things can go on there and then try them in a week. I will try them for you. Do not worry. Last time you were worried. Don't worry this time.